Hey everyone, today we had assemblies. We talked about expectations for assemblies. We talked about perseverance, which is our February character trait, and we talked about kindness, which is coming up in March, which is coming up this week. And I read those shoes, and there's quite a bit of kindness in this book. So if you want to know what we're doing at City View in our assemblies, I'm going to read this book. Maybe you were absent, maybe you are a mom or a dad, or maybe you just want to read a good book. So this is those shoes. You can see that there is a little boy that does not look happy. So we know this is about kindness, right? So maybe he was kind and he felt better. Maybe he received kindness. Maybe both. I have dreams about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Look at that. The advertisement. Buy those shoes. Grandma, I want them. There's no room for want around here. Just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now, not me. I was always the fastest runner before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times he goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan Jacoby and Terrence each get a pair. Oh, look at him. He's in the lunch line. All the kids have the shoes. Yeah, I would feel a little jealous. Maybe a little sad. Then one day, in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfrey, the school counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size. Velcro, like the ones my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid ever watched. So there's Jeremy with his broken shoe. There's Jeremy with Mr. Alfrey. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes and laughs, and so do Terrence, Brandon T, and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. So I would say that's an act of kindness. That's so sad, right? Imagine how you would feel if you come back and people are laughing at your shoes. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfrey." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes. But when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight on my pencil I think it might bust. Yeah. But he says he's not going to cry. I would feel like crying. And that's okay. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I got a little bit of money set aside. Might be enough. You never know." Here they are at breakfast. At the shoe store, Grandma turns those shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. Maybe they wrote it down wrong, I say. Grandma shakes her head. Oh, those are expensive, huh? Then I remember the thrift shops. Now, a thrift shop is a store where you can buy things that people have used, but they're still good enough to buy, but they're going to be cheaper. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, high heels, every kind of shoes except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop. I see something in the window. Okay, there they are walking. There they are in the window. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes. Oh, imagine that. My heart is pounding hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. How exciting, Grandma says. What size are they? I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. I don't know, but I think they fit. Look at him squishing his feet in there. Grandma kneels on the floor and feels for my toes on the end of the shoe. Oh, Jeremy, she says, I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit. Oh. I pull the other shoe on and try to walk around. They're okay, I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will fall off right then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway, with my own money, and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. Oh, no. At home, a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my two big feet stuffing around in my two small shoes, shuffling around, sorry. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say. Grandma gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Elfrey's to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up, and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. Okay, so there he is in class, noticing Antonio's broken apart shoes and the size of his feet smaller. There he is at the park. Antonio's at the park too. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think, I'm not going to do it. There they are shooting baskets. We leap off the swings. I'm not going to do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I'm not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio asks, breathing hard. Actually, it says Antonio says. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. Oh, yeah. That night, I am awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. One last time. Oh, what do you think? One last time trying his shoes on? I'm not going to stretch, huh? It's going to happen, though. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door, push the doorbell, and run. Oh, he's running. There's Antonio opening the door. I notice a little smile on Jeremy's face. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face and mad when I look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then I remember what I have in my backpack. New boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. There they are in line. Let's race. I hope you enjoyed this book, this story. It's a really fun one. It's a great one with a really good lesson about kindness. And that'll help us go into March, which is Kindness Month at City View. Bye-bye.